True believers, welcome once again. This is a lost episode within the mythos. Before I left the show and never came back, I, of course, am the guy who sits in this chair. And I am Chuck, and I am joined once again by my CEO, editor-in-chief, supreme ruler, and reptilian overlord of the Professional Casual Network, and the guy with the computer, Tim, and a very special guest this week. You know her, you love her over on House Party Protocol and Morlocks Gaming. The cosmic janky list maker herself, one of my absolute favorite people to guest star ever on this show. Better than that other guy who sat in the chair before. I'm talking about Lexa. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for that quite flattering intro.
I am nothing if I am not a flattering introer. Had it on my business card that one time.
A bunch of O's and U's.
Yep.
It's actually a really long business card.
Yeah, it's really long. Of course, we are the Professional Casual Network presents. Wait, did I roll wild? In Marvel Crisis Protocol Povlog. This is a very special episode because we have a very special guest. Lexa, of course, has joined us. I found you through House Party Protocol. Over there, big fan of that show. If you've never checked it out, obviously you stumbled upon this show by complete accident. You've heard of us, but not them. But I love Will over there. Yeah. House Party Protocol. My favorite thing that you do over on that show, very honestly, is you will make like cosmic janky, like hot takes, and then Will has to try to like make his brain make it make sense. But I sit here and go, no, that totally makes sense. I don't know why Will's not getting this. It is absolutely one of my favorite things in the entire world. Let's get to know Lexa real quick. And by that, I mean games played and hobby thoughts. Have you played any games recently? Tim, have you played any games recently? And have you hobbied at all? Tim?
I mean, you asked two people different questions. I don't know what order we're supposed to go in here.
Listen, this is free form. This is open table.
Yeah. So over on the Discord, we've been running kind of like hey, it's the end of the year. Get your stuff painted as quickly as possible because you made a bunch of resolutions. And now's the time to actually do it.
Oh, okay.
So I have a bunch of models in my garage, which I primed in June of 2020.
Yep.
That I think are now just to the point where they should probably be painted. So I might be pulling those out soon. I did check on them. Most of them are still there.
That's good.
And yeah, I think we're going to be getting around to those soon. So actual paint on models, no.
Okay.
But closer than I've ever been in the last several years to doing so.
And I will say this, at time of release, not of record, but of release, can you believe how gorgeous that Dormammu, that Blade, and that Moon Knight looked when it came out for you? Holy smokes.
Yep.
Man, you did a wonderful job on those.
I completely agree. Also, huge thank you. I want to just give you a shout out here. I know that you were super against it at first when I said, hey, don't you dare. Can you do a Green Goblin as if it was the Monarch from Venture Brothers on a butterfly glider? And you were like, Tim, I don't want to do that in any way, shape, or form, but for you, I will. And I'm so glad that you're working on that and that it is near completion and that you've been posting it on Instagram and things like that so we could see the progress along the way. Really appreciate that. Huge shout out to you.
I very much have tasted my own medicine, and it is bitter about making things canon on this show, if you say it enough. Wonderful. Thank you for that. Lexa, have you gotten any games in? I know you run a lot of the TTS leagues, right? You're still in those.
No,
you're not anymore. Oh, okay. Were you ever in those?
I did season 4 and season 5, I think it was, or the last 2 seasons.
Okay,
I have done
arguably the best seasons there ever were.
But I have found that I much prefer playing a different list each week rather than playing one list consistently.
Sure. We very much here feel that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Of course, over at twitch.tv/professional casual network, we run pretty much a new list every week. Mm-hmm. Nothing is ever the same.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I don't know. I think that's fun. I think it's a lot funner that way.
Yeah. But speaking of games that I've gotten to play, and speaking of Twitch, every other Monday, I sit down with some friends from New Jersey, and we play board games on the internet. And this last, at time of recording, this last episode, we sat down and played Unfathomable.
How is that?
Oh, snap. Okay.
I loved it, but I also, I have bought an out-of-print copy of BSG because I love that game so much. And by God, is that expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's a treat yourself. That's a Bones Day purchase for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is a solid choice. Well, I haven't played anything. I haven't hobbied at all. I threw all my paintbrushes away. Scotty has all of my miniatures. I gave them away. I'm out of the game forever, as we all know, because I quit the show. Let's head over to our questions for tonight. I'm very excited to get to know Lexa so much more. You talked about board games. Let's start from where it all began. What got you into tabletop wargaming? What got you into gaming in general? I want to know all about you. I want to learn. I want to get deep inside. This is 2020 date. Did they do the interviews, right?
Yeah.
This is behind the music, a VH1 special. Let's deep dive right into it. What got you into the hobby wargaming realm and community?
So first, I wanted to respond to the other question you asked me, which was what hobby I've been doing.
Oh, I didn't even realize you did some hobbying. Excellent. Let's get into that.
Well, so my hobbying is not painting.
Okay.
I am on the great sleeving quest to sleeve my entire Arkham Horror, the card game collection.
Gotcha. That is that any good?
Arkham Horror?
I love Arkham Horror, the card game is my actual major love. I adore that game so much.
I feel like it's something I would enjoy if I actually had any idea what it was. But I look at it and go, too scary. Too scary for me.
Is it a deck builder?
It is a cooperative. So it's. Have you played Marvel Champions at all?
Yes, I have.
So it's Marvel Champions, but with more thematic storytelling elements.
Oh.
And set in the H.P. Lovecraft universe, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And it's instead of how they have campaigns in the big boxes for Marvel Champions?
Yeah.
Every single one of those is every single Arkham Horror thing is a big campaign where your choices actually radically change certain scenarios because you're actually making choices and stuff. And it's so the thing I'm holding in my hand is Pasta Carcosa, which has this entire mechanic about whether or not you have conviction or doubt. And that changes mechanically certain scenarios because it's the one centered around Hasta, the King in Yellow. And that changes kind of your interactions with the game and even some of the fundamental objectives of certain missions.
Okay.
But also, each character has. I'm not going to dig up the box. Each character has specificities of what classes they can take. So it's a character may be, I can take level 0 to 5 Guardian and level 0 to 2 Survivor. And that's their card pool. And as you earn XP, you can upgrade your deck from level 0 cards to level 5 cards within those boundaries. And so each character is. In Marvel Champions, you can slot any character into any aspect.
Right.
This game is very much these characters are defined by not just their abilities, but what they have access to.
Okay.
But instead of having a deck of 15 cards that are uniquely theirs, they have one signature asset, which is a good thing they have, and then one signature weakness, which is a bad thing that resides in their deck. And will screw you over at the worst possible time.
That tracks. Yep. That sounds rad as hell.
Yeah, it does.
That sounds awesome. Okay, cool. But what other were there other games that you got into that got you kind of more into this hobby, into tabletop board gaming in general? Were you a big video game person?
So it's my actual origins. I had like ships in the night style relationship with a lot of war games. I was technically part of the wargaming club and ran it for a little bit, but that was more like administrative than like super in the weeds about it. And like I kept using the school's collection, not my own collection. I've never actually, this is the first game I've actually developed a collection of my own for.
Okay.
And it's mostly because I was vaguely interested in it, and then I saw it in a shop one day when I was there with my sister, and I'm like, my sister's much bigger Marvel fan than I am. She's like all in the MCU and stuff. I have a complicated relationship with the MCU in general and Marvel as well, mostly because of the big hand of Disney and other stuff around that.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's difficult to constantly remember that is there and also be okay with it.
Yep.
Well, and it's also, as a person in the LGBT community, Disney specifically has done the LGBT community very dirty.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
And it's like the closest we got to good representation is no longer even canon in the MCU, because that was The Runaways, which is a great show.
Oh gosh, yeah.
It was so good.
Uh-huh.
So
and they actually took the initiative to get Nico and Caroline together, which is something that never happened in the comics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I never watched the full series. I think I only got part. Is it only one season?
It's 3 seasons.
3 seasons.
There are.
Yeah.
Okay. So
they kind of snuck the last one in there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I read the comics and really, really, really enjoyed them, and actually, I just absolutely adored Caroline and Nico getting together in the show, and I thought that was probably very easily one of the best changes they made, outside of making Gert a lot more prominent in the show than I felt like she was in the comics, which was also a huge benefit.
Well, when you got a character named like Gert, you got to send it.
Right.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, and she also has her emotional support dinosaur.
Correct.
Yeah, I love dinosaurs.
I made a series of articles about the characters I want to see into Marvel Crisis Protocol, and the top of my list was Arsenic and Old Lace and Sister Grimm for the non-mutants.
Okay.
I've regularly said Nico's usually in my top 5.
That's true. That's true. It's like right behind Quentin Quire.
Quentin Quire and Phantom X.
And Phantom X. Yep.
Yeah, so the top of my list, because I divided it into 3 things. I did non-mutants, mutants, and characters we already have, but I want to see different versions of.
Okay.
I like that.
The obvious number one for the characters we have already seen, but I want different versions of, is I want Leader of the Morlocks Storm.
Oh,
with the mohawk.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the logo to my show.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I named it after. But then for mutants, I want the Stefford Cuckoos.
Yes. Yeah. We've been preaching Steffords for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'd love to see what they could do with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I'm a big X-Men fan, and I do not trust Disney at all to do the X-Men right.
Yeah, fair. I don't know. I feel like they struck gold on the first one, and then they just didn't know where else to go with it. Kind of. The second one was all right
with the first.
So no, it's my big thing is that the subtext of X-Men being a queer allegory has become text in a lot of ways, and a lot of the modern incarnations of X-Men. And I do not trust Disney at all to touch that respectfully or well.
Fair.
Yeah, it's a big ask.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, especially when you have to make it comfortable for everybody. You know what I mean? And people who probably don't need it to be comfortable for them.
Right.
So,
getting back to the story, my sister's a big Marvel fan, and I pointed it out and like, if I get this, would you play this with me? Because I love board games in general, so I'm always looking for games to play with my family. And she's like, sure, I'll try it. So I picked it up and I just fell in love with the rules and kind of dug in from there and really fell in love with this game. To the point where I am actually on my own Discord server creating custom characters.
There you go. All right.
I am working on a versus Capcom expansion.
All right. I like that a lot.
Yep. Yeah. If I want giant cactus man. What was his name with the sombrero?
Amigo.
Yeah. Although, didn't we figure out that was actually a Marvel? No, it was a Capcom character that they made specifically for the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of 3, because I also remember Ruby Heart was also exclusive, and I'm pretty sure there was one other.
Yeah.
Was it BB Heart? Or she from Darkstalkers?
BB is from Darkstalkers.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm much more the Marvel 3 generation than the Marvel 2 generation.
Oh, fair.
Okay. That's super fair.
Yep.
And or was it One Up Arcade has like a drop that's Capcom versus Marvel, like one Marvel superheroes, and then there's another maybe X-Men Children of the Atom or something like that.
Yeah.
I've been contemplating because I want to play old school like Marvel versus Capcom and X-Men or Marvel superheroes like so bad, but it's hard to find it.
Getting like a Wesker or a Frank. Is it Frank West from
Frank West is from Dead Rising.
Dead Rising. I always want to say Dead or Alive, and I know it's not Dead or Alive in any way, shape, or form.
No.
But I know Dead's in the title somewhere.
Right, yeah. That would actually be
Dead or Alive is a very fun but very trashy fighting game series.
Yeah.
Yes.
My first love was fighting games. I got in on Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but I fell in love with the anime fighters. One of my things is I run a weekly fighting game tournament locally.
Oh,
well, hell yeah.
Shoot. What's your feelings on Smash Bros?
It's not the game for me, but it's the game I run the tournament for because it's what we have the local scene for.
Okay. That tracks.
But there's a couple people who, after the bracket is over, will pull out the new Melty Blood and we'll play that.
Okay. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. But if we want to go back to like my origins of board gaming, I picked up the original Arkham 2nd edition at a con, probably 2009. And fell in love with that game, and that kind of kickstarted my board gaming addiction.
Okay. That makes...
I like that. That's a great one to start with, too.
Yeah, it
sets the bar pretty high, but it's a great one to start with.
Yeah, I mean...
And the Arkham Files series has continued to get better and better as time has gone on. I actually prefer Arkham 3rd edition to Arkham 2nd edition because it's a lot less janky.
Okay. Yeah. I have never played any of them. Again, too scary, but I dig it. So we know what attracted you to Marvel Crisis Protocol. You love the game. You love the game. So rule structure. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But what has kept you around this long, and what made you get into creating content for the game?
So what's kept me around is the jank, and specifically the way that you can construct teams and plug and play everyone. It feels very freeform. I've done a lot of card games and role playing games. I've talked about Arkham Horror, the card game. I also own all of Marvel Champions. I play Magic a bit, not super heavily, but a bit. I also recently have fallen in love with the Vampire the Masquerade card game.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's a huge scene for that, somewhat locally here, like an hour away.
Is there really?
In Binghamton, yeah. Like, huge.
Oh.
Yeah, Rivals or Jihad?
That I don't know. The only reason I'm aware of it is I did some Mind's Eye Theater LARPs in that area, and I always played a bunch of that afterwards.
So it's I ran a local LARP scene in my final year of college. I ran a Sabat LARP.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's rad as hell. So we were never allowed to play Sabat. Always had to be a Ventrue or a Toreador, I think was what I always got stuck as. But But yeah.
So, no. So I started out as a character and transitioned into being an ST. But my character, until I transitioned to being an ST, was a ghoul that they had not blood bonded properly, so was selling all of their secrets to the local Giovanni.
Oh, all right. I've always had a huge soft spot for the Giovanni too. Just vampires that talk to ghosts. It's so neat.
They're the incest mob.
Yeah.
Oh man! All right. Again, too scary. Couldn't play it, guys. I'm a scared little boy. You know what I mean? But what made you get into content creation for this game specifically, and what makes you kind of stick around and keep doing it?
So, what I got into content creation through is during the last Illuminati meeting, which, for those that don't know, the Illuminati is a big project of content creators kind of doing a year-end recap that Jacob Viva Protocols does each year. He made the observation, and one of them made the observation and statement that they all were middle-aged white guys. And they would really like to see more diversity in the scene. And I was like, yeah, I'm a trans woman that is also probably a decade younger than most of the other content creators. So I felt that as a call to action. And so I actually reached out to Jacob and Will. And that's really where I got my first. I was already in the planning stages of creating Morlocks when I did my first show on House Party Protocol. And that really gave me a feel for how podcasting works and stuff. And I got a lot of behind-the-scene tips from both Will and Jacob, who ended up becoming my first two guests on the show.
All right. Okay.
And I also have a lot of respect for Jacob because he put out a interview with a TO for War Machine, a trans woman TO for War Machine. Mm-hmm. Rebecca, if I remember correctly, but I'm not 100% sure.
I want to say that was, yeah, Rebecca sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, and he let me know behind the scenes, and I'm kind of blowing up his spot, but I think this is super admirable. He released it specifically before my first episode came out because he wanted to head off any conversation about transness in the community before I stepped into the ring, and I respect that so fucking much.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. Cool. Dope. I love it. I love your content. Again, you are probably one of my favorite guests over at House Party Protocol. You know, Nate can take a hike as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? But let's get the gloves off. Let's start throwing some punches. Let's get into some questions curated by our Discord. Of course, if you head over to patreon.com/professionalcasual for as little as $1, you can get access to our Discord. We got some hot questions coming in. Let's get right into it. With the current state of the game and all the changes that are occurring to the core rules and the character changes, where do you see the game going, both in structure and how it's played and the casual meta as a whole? Go ahead. I'll let Lexa go first. I insist.
So I think that's a big, complicated question.
I agree.
It
is a super complicated question. That's why I like asking it.
And it's not something that I feel 100% qualified to talk about because I come it from such a different direction than all the other content creators. If for those that don't know, let me speak about my podcast quickly. I do a weekly podcast called Morlocks, which is about finding new homes for the lost and forgotten characters in Marvel Crisis Protocol, and is kind of we talk about a character each week. And we build a list around them that doesn't include any of their affiliations, basically, is kind of the way we structure it. So it's about putting them in, bringing them out of affiliation and kind of showcasing a character. Even if they're not the best character in the game, we want to showcase them and make them the best possible, because even if they're not a good piece, they are still representing someone's favorite character from Marvel Comics. And I think it's important to give people a place to play those characters. And I think the changes that have been made, one, to the core rules, I think the 10 tactics cards is a fantastic choice. I have mixed emotions about the gem changes, but I think they are overall good. It just means I can't play my, because I defined a list known as Thanos Spider Foes.
Yep, the famous Spider Foes. The Thanos Spider Foes list, absolutely adore that list. Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorites. I never brought it because it felt like I could win with it. So I was like, nope, I immediately am never going to bring this list. But it is one of my favorite lists to see run, ever.
Yeah.
I will say retroactively, having played so much MCP with you, now having listened to a whole bunch of Lexa stuff, finding out that when you tell us things like, actually there's this list going around that X, Y, or Z that it's just been you stealing all of her gimmicks.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yep.
For a while.
Yep.
So let's see. Have you played Unaffiliated Condition List?
No.
And Tim is all unaffiliated. That's his favorite type of list.
So it vacillates between unaffiliated and leaderless A-Force, just because there's just enough characters that play in the condition game to play it in A-Force to randomly get affiliation at certain point values. But it's Hawkeye, Star-Lord with a power gem, Scarlet Witch, Crystal, and Agent Widow.
Ooh, I like that a lot.
You just wrote his list for next Monday.
Scarlet Witch is in there. I kind of like all the others are bonuses, and Crystal.
And then you get to play Kick 'em while they're down.
Yeah,
which is such a funny card. And because you're playing both Agent Widow and Hawkeye, you can play professionals.
I don't think I've ever used them ever in the same list before, so I've never even read what the card does.
So professionals is an extract steal.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
On a tactics card. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, again, it's a card that exists. I think I've read it once and then keep getting confused because I never know how to actually pronounce Black Widow's real name and then immediately just stop reading the card. Mm. Yeah, that's usually where I'm at with that. But I also don't run Hawkeye because Hawkeye is dumb. He's not good. And I don't think anybody should ever bring him ever.
We ran him a lot when we first.
Yeah, I am aware of that.
He dropped right off the face of the
and then I had him 2-shot Taskmaster in one game, and I've just refused to ever acknowledge that he exists in my life ever again. So,
the other favorite list of mine is I've been working on Death and Taxes.
Ooh, what's that? What's that one do?
So, Death and Taxes is an idea that I have stolen from Magic the Gathering.
Okay.
And it is your core crew is Loki with the Mind Gem, Groot, and Deadpool. And you are playing a tax list. You are making all of their superpowers cost more.
And you're working with the mouthing everyone.
That you can, yeah. And then you support it with big control pieces like Jean Grey and Scarlet Witch with No More Mutants. So when they do end up having to pay like 4 or 5 for that throw, you can just say, no, you don't.
Yeah, I dig that.
I mean, I was on board when I heard the first character being Loki with a mind gem. So I'm all here for this. This sounds dope. I'll never play it right, but it sounds dope.
Yeah. So I was in the introductory 3-box league for the 3-box challenge. Right. And I did a 3-box version of Death and Taxes where my 17-point list was Loki, Mind Gem, Groot, Deadpool, Red Skull, Bob.
I love it.
Yeah. Oh my God. I rarely get to see Tim this giddy. This is exciting. Yeah. It's funny because we try to come up with themed lists here on the show, and it's everybody's got tentacles. That's the theme for this list. And you just gave Tim 4 weeks worth of content. He is just ecstatic about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to do a bunch of dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Probably won't win, but it's going to make a whole bunch of people mad.
Yep. Yeah, you already don't have friends.
If
so
you want that type of content, I am the place to go.
Yeah, apparently I've been missing out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've only gotten the House Party Protocol information. You know what I mean? Like that's all I've been getting. So that is I absolutely adore that.
Yeah, and I have also there's the Red Skull Inhumans list.
Yes, which is I ran that for my league. For the league that we ran, we did the Infinity War League, and I ran that Red Skull Inhuman battery list, and it is a delight of a list.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also, have you ever played Red Skull and Venom together?
No, I haven't. No, but I think it has been done on the channel one time, maybe. But it was Dan, so probably did it wrong.
So the thing you do is you send Red Skull and Venom off on a C, and then Red Skull can reposition Venom. And then that side of the C is just every attack goes into Venom no matter what, because Red Skull just hail Hydras into Venom, and then Venom counterattacks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad we had this episode. When May rolls around and I'm back to playing, this is going to be a joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taylor would love that list.
Taylor
just wants to use Venom. He doesn't care how. He just wants reasons to use him.
Yeah.
Thrash
Gaming himself.
Wargaming Dad created this great counterattack list. That is, it's Web Warriors, 15 Threat, Miles, Venom, Daredevil, and Sabretooth.
Yeah. Didn't you run that? Or was that Dan?
That was Dan. Yeah.
Dan ran it.
Yeah, we love Wargaming Dad here on the show, specifically because he tells us everything that we get wrong constantly.
Every week. We have no idea how to play.
Yeah,
this
we
game.
have no idea.
If it wasn't for him and Ravensguard, we would have.
Yeah, we would.
A lot more.
Our content would be way worse than it already is. Trust me. Like it is a miracle that man exists.
But as going back to the question,
yes.
I think as this is going forward, I think I've liked all the character changes that I've seen so far. The only one that I'm a little bit sad about is Star-Lord, but it's for reasons that would not make him good.
Okay.
Because I like the distinct identity of Guardians being a place where you could bring Silver Bullet Tactics cards that may come up, and if they do come up, they're exceptionally powerful, but if they don't come up, you can pitch them for cost.
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
Taking that away means that a lot of those really Silver Bullet cards are going to get pushed out because they have no home.
So I could see that. Do you feel with the Team Tactics roster increasing to 10 that they might still make it onto the list? Or do you still see that being cut off?
It's not that they would. I've had many games where they make it to the list but don't make it to the squad.
Yeah.
And it was in Guardians, you had this ability to put them into your squad because they may not be obvious silver bullets on the table, but if they do come up, they can just destroy someone.
Yep.
And this is especially with character-specific cards like Daughters of Thanos. That is an exceptionally good card that is very situational, and you don't know whether that situation is going to come up until you play the game.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
I've said it at least I think once on the show back when I was on it that I'm very excited that they raised the count from 8 to 10, but I'm still probably going to end up taking the same 5 cards that I would normally take anyway.
Yeah.
I would kind of like to see them maybe increase it to 6 tactics cards instead of 5. That's just me, but I always want more tactics cards anyway. So.
Right.
I don't think that can happen because they have balanced convocation around those 5 tactics cards.
Absolutely. Yep. And that once again, as I have stated well in the show long before I left, that convocation is the worst. And I don't because I don't get it. I don't understand how the group works. So it's bad.
Well, specifically here in the U.S., yeah, we definitely don't get it.
Yeah, we definitely don't. Yeah, at some point.
I have done some list building around convocation because it's the way Morlocks works as soon as something is announced or the card is shown off or we have an affiliation document or anything, we go with it. So we've been building under the assumption of the new rules since the mini extravaganza.
Oh, okay.
All right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And so we've built a couple convocation lists. We've built a couple Midnight Suns lists. And they're all really interesting.
So very specifically, if you've been building lists with convocation, have you thrown where's Baron found his home? Have you thrown him into the unaffiliated status effects list? Or
so Baron is also in the unaffiliated status condition list. He is also mini Thanos in the Spider-Foes list, in basically any Spider-Foes list now.
Okay.
Because he does... The big thing you were using Thanos for was his extra dice on attacks, because the Spider-Foes builders, for the most part, if you're looking at Green Goblin, Doc Ock, and to a lesser extent Venom, because Venom gets so many of them, all of them are balanced around the fact that they are a specific dice amount and get way scarier when you add dice, especially Doc Ock.
Yeah. Yep.
And also, Spider-Foes is an exceptionally tanky team.
Very much so.
So, getting them... So, the 1 damage cost is not scary. So, Baron Mordo has been a big player in Spider-Foes lists that I have been working on recently. Because he does, especially for Doc Ock, he does insane stuff with Doc Ock. Because, as I refer to him, Doc Ock, the best Doom Prophecy target in the West.
I buy that, yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that sounds solid.
So the math behind it is his builder suddenly does an average of 5.5 successes in attack when you Doom Prophecy him.
Okay. Yeah.
Because his wild's counting double, and he is the spikiest character in the game.
Yep.
Yes, he is. Yep. And he really takes a black dwarf to the face really, really well if you need him to.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, been there, done that a couple of times.
The good news is
because he also has
used ebony moss since that game.
that's really true. Yep, that's accurate.
Because he also has a really good stat line for 3 threat, because he's a 4/3/4.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were going over him a few episodes ago, and I was like, why are people not taking him more? He's a solid, slightly basic, but still solid 3 threat.
And there's always that difference, because there's why aren't people taking him, and there's why aren't we specifically taking him, because we have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah, but I feel like nobody talks about him.
Oh, fair.
Yeah.
I feel like most Spider-Foe lists, maybe just because we got all the new characters and things like that, but I feel like he's never in that list. Like, he's never in a roster, but then again, I don't pay attention, so.
Well, so I've also started splashing Doc Ock into Criminal Syndicate so that Criminal Syndicate can access well-laid plans.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, I forget that's not
affiliated.
Actually, I forget that's not actually affiliated.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm hearing it for the first time, actually. I'm completely unaware of it.
Yeah, my brain just unlocked.
So it's my original pitch for, before we got all of the spoilers for like the second wave of Spider-Foes, my pitch for what Spider-Foes identity should have been was, we don't have any affiliated tactics cards, we just have a pile of duo cards. Because we are this loose conglomeration of people who don't really get along, but just hate this one person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Though when we get a second Spider-Foes leader, I have already put down my choice will be Prowler.
Okay.
Because then we get the person who hates Miles Morales and the person who hates Peter Parker as your 2 leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it actually sounds really solid.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the short list is always J. Jonah Jameson. Everybody wants a J. Jonah Jameson 2 threat, but it makes I like Prowler a lot better. I think that would actually be a super solid choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I have, it may be out by the time this episode comes out, but I'm working on an article on secondary leaders for all the year 1 and like year 1.5 affiliations, basically.
Okay. Actually, super dig that.
I dig that.
I really want more affiliation leaders.
Who's on your short list for Asgardians?
Short list, I'm thinking you have, of course, Jane Foster.
Yeah.
Either as Valkyrie or as Thor. I personally want to see the combo pack of Jane Foster Valkyrie and Rona Valkyrie.
All right.
For those that don't know, Rona is basically the Thor Ragnarok Valkyrie turned into a comic book character like they do occasionally. Mm-hmm. So it's and they've been working on like rebuilding the Valkyries as a faction in the comics recently.
Yeah.
The other thing I could see is them choosing one of the Asgard villains, because Asgard is both a good and bad person affiliation, and getting a like representative leader for the bad guys, I could see.
I could very much see a situation where like I don't know if they do a rework on like Hela or something of that nature, but then just kind of like we always, when we think Asgard and adding characters to it, we always think we could add Odin or the dude with the bridge, the sword guy, and
Heimdall.
Yeah.
Suitor, maybe.
Right. But I always forget that, like, oh, Asgard's actually kind of blanket both bad and good.
Yeah.
And
obviously be the go-to.
Yeah.
And then, much in the same way, I think you could have a representative character for Wakanda for the bad side, because Wakanda includes Killmonger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very true.
And get a couple more of the Black Panther villains in there.
Who are some of the other Black Panther villains?
Claw. Claw is my pick for one of the possible criminal syndicate leaders.
Okay. Yeah, that tracks. That makes a lot of sense.
Claw and Madame Mask are my two picks there.
Madame Mask.
I don't know.
I'm not familiar with her.
So, Madame Mask, 1 second. Let me find her. Because I recently got the Disney Villainous, Marvel Villainous expansion.
Oh.
Which is
leave it to Marvel Villainous stepping it up and bringing in like characters we've never heard of.
So you will hear of her soon because she is coming in the Hawkeye series.
Oh, baller. Okay.
Oh,
but she is so the expansion is Loki, MODOK, and Madame Mask.
I mean,
all right.
Pretty into that, actually.
Yeah, and that's actually pretty dope.
Yeah. But Madame Mask is another kind of like criminal underworld person. You can see her on the key art there.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I've never seen that character before. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's traditionally like a Hawkeye, Kate Bishop villain, from my understanding, and deals a lot with like actual like mafia gangs and stuff, much more than Kingpin does.
I am absolutely jazzed for Hawkeye, for them to introduce Kate Bishop. I want to see some more stuff around Cassie Lang and actually flesh out the Young Avengers. I am absolutely stoked for that.
Him and
to have Wiccan finally like actually in something. Oh!
So the thing I expect them actually to do is do Champions.
Oh yeah, because you got Miss Marvel, right? And
yep, Miss Marvel, and it would give them a reason to bring in Miles Morales into the main universe.
And Nova.
Yes. And I'm honestly surprised that Miss Marvel did not come with the Champions leadership.
Yeah. It was well recorded, documented on our show that Tim said it would be the first box he didn't get because he really was unhappy with that character and the character design. So I don't know. I guess we'll see if you end up with it or not. But
I felt like they should have made her a baller, and I didn't think that the card necessarily made her a baller. That's all.
But this gives them now more reason to do like a 4-threat baller.
Yeah.
And make her a Champions leader.
Mm-hmm. There's a couple other people they could pull in to be Champions leaders. Amadeus Cho.
Fuck yeah. Sorry, I don't know if we can say that on the show. But
that's where you're at?
I really like Amadeus Cho, bud.
Okay. Again, a character I've never heard
best Hulk in my personal opinion. But
okay.
I disagree. Because Joe Fixit exists.
Yeah,
Dan says that too.
Okay, that's the thing.
Joe Fixit also on my short list for possible criminal syndicate leaders that I want to see.
All right.
I mean, he's got a sweet hat.
That's true. I mean, what are you gonna do? When
it's Mobster Hulk.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
Yeah, it's absolutely accurate. It is absolutely accurate. Okay, let's get back. We have one more hot topic question. It's what was. Sorry, I'm having a stroke. Apparently, what aspect of the game?
Thinking of Joe Fixit does that, bud.
Yeah, that's fair. That's accurate. What aspect of the game do you love the most, and what aspect do you wish would be improved, and how?
I love kind of the versatility of this game.
Mm-hmm.
It between both on the mechanical end that allows them to do the event kits like Vibranium Heist, the Ultimate Encounters, the Separation Anxiety, all of that stuff, and the plug and play nature which allows for list building to be so dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All of that is really good.
The one thing that I absolutely adore about this game, and kind of piggybacks off of what you just said, is I never feel like if there's a character I really want to use just because I want to use them, whether they're good or bad or whatever,
Mhm.
I never really feel like I am super heavily taxed for fielding them anyway. I can field them in someone else's affiliation. I can field them in their own. Like it's just
other than Viper.
Other than listen, I feel Viper plays personally, but
all right.
I can throw Bullseye in any list I want, and it's fine because it's Bullseye. And if I roll bad, he's gonna do some damage anyway. That's all
my boy. My Bullseye is notorious for rolling 3 to 4 successes on 4-die builders.
Yeah. He's the only character I can do anything with for whatever reason.
It's crazy. He doesn't even have a 5-strength melee, and he's, like it's insane. It's nuts around here.
Well, you guys have seen the changes, right?
Yeah.
Our Discord literally exploded. I'm pretty sure the server is just gone now because Tim lost his mind when that. And what
have they done to my boy?
Yeah,
he was perfect the way he was.
And I'm looking over the card. And I'm like, they just changed it to a 2 threat, and he's like, "Yo, how could they do this?"
No one else took him. He was just mine. He was my special, and now it's gone. Now everyone likes him.
Hey, I took him as well.
All right, I appreciate that because
I always liked him. I never had a problem with him. I felt like it took a little motivation.
It also means now Sin Cabal can go as White as Guardians.
Yeah,
because they now have 2 in affiliation 2 threats.
Yep. That's
which now means we can do 7 wide at 16.
Yeah.
You all right over there, bud?
Yeah.
You having a moment? You gonna be okay?
Can't wait for that PDF to come out so we can do that.
And then 8 wide at 19, adding in a Baron Zemo.
Tim, everything's coming up, Tim. All we need is Young Avengers in this game, and he can quit. Like, he can leave. He'll be happy.
Mm-hmm.
What aspect of the game do you think it needs to be improved on, and how? There's some stuff, of course, we always rant every week, it seems like, here at Wait Did I Roll Wild. But what aspect do you think needs maybe the slightest bit of improvement, and how?
I think extracts need to never score more than secures because it plays a game style that I think is actively bad for the game.
I would agree to that. I would absolutely agree to that. Yep. That tracks. I would also
keep away's not fun. It's not a good gameplay.
Yeah, especially when you play against somebody who only ever brings long movers, and then you just want to play fun characters that also are big beefy boys who are slow, and then it's just not a fun game of him just running around, and then you get mad and you flip the table, and then it's like, you can't come on the stream anymore because you flipped the table and broke the camera. It's like a whole thing, and I just don't appreciate it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm sorry I flipped that table again.
Yeah, you should be. It's ridiculous.
But it's to make a more salient point, I think keep away is only interesting when it's a late game decision.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If it's a round 2 decision, that means you don't get to roll a lot of dice. And I think the best part of this game is rolling dice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, very much like a comic book, the best parts are the beat 'em up parts, not them running away parts.
Yeah.
You know?
The only time I ever actually play Keep Away is when I'm doing secure Keep Away with Mystique leaded Brotherhood and just being an asshole because you run Mystique, Sabretooth, and Quicksilver.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is a place where Viper shines.
Yeah, I can see that actually.
Can you stop giving Tim content? Because he's like literally just writing this all down right now. He's just like, all right, so all long movers in Brotherhood. This tracks. Okay, this is great.
I can play Keep Away. I can blame it on someone else. It's not my fault. Listen, I'm just playing this other list.
Yep.
Well, no, and it's not even playing Keep Away. It's playing Rope-a-Dope because you're going from one secure to another and just leaving your little hat behind.
Well, the enemy Crossbones is just trying to keep up.
Yep. Yeah.
Puffing his little.
That tracks. Yeah, you got Crossbones, MODOK, and Venom on the other side because we wanted to take a big bony list or something weird like that, and they're just trying to run around not being able to move.
Yep.
Oh, that's a good time.
They're immune to slow though, which is cool.
They're not immune to slow. They can still get a slow token.
They don't get slower. That means they're immune to slow.
All right.
No, because we have all webbed up.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
which means there's a functional difference between being immune to slow and just having a short move.
Yeah, because remember that one time I thought I figured out how to get rid of Cable, and then I found out, no, that wasn't true because he's immune to poison because he's the best character in the game. Because he's immune to poison. That's how it works. Yeah. All the best characters are immune to poison. Let's talk about our topic for tonight, round robin style. We are talking about the best character that you are sleeping on, a topic that we all love here.
Oh, yeah.
I love talking about characters that people are not giving enough credit to.
I've built a career on it.
Literally, yes, exactly. There are people out there. I very much think there is a very quiet majority of people who like that kind of that content and that style. And that's kind of why we started this whole show.
Yeah.
Realistically. I'll go first. I'll talk about my character first and get this going right off the bat. I want to talk about Ant-Man. I think Ant-Man was a character that only got taken in Crime Syndicate if you had enough points to do it. Ant-Man is one of my favorite characters in this game because he's just, as we all know, I love a good movement shenanigan, Tim.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of movement shenanigans, and we got that transformation ability. Like that was the introduction of transformation, which I absolutely love because once again, little hippity hoppies. You get little hippity hoppies.
You do get little hippity hoppies.
And a free 3-inch range placement with that character is when that character came out, I was like, oh, I'm all in. It was the only box I was able to get at that time. And I was super, super excited and I super loved it. But it seemed like nobody was taking him, mainly because he was only affiliated with Avengers. Sam Wilson wasn't out yet, and he did not benefit from Steve Rogers.
He has the strongest range 1 attack in the game.
That is accurate. Yes, that is a true statement.
So do you want some spice now? Because I have some spice for Ant-Man.
Oh, give me the spice. Sprinkle it on me. Let me know. I want that Lexa dust.
If you are playing either Ant-Man or Wasp in a list that also includes Mystique, you can use Pim particles on Mystique's turn so they can't brace for impact the throw that you're doing.
What?
Excuse you?
Excuse me?
Because Pim particles, which is the Ant-Man specific tactics card, can be played on any players on any character's turn. And so if you're doing it, much like if you're doing Wakanda Forever on Mystique's turn, it benefits from the shapeshifter ability, which prevents reactive team tactics cards and reactive abilities from happening.
My brain just broke. Oh, that is rad. Can you stop giving Tim great ideas? Because look,
I just need to read cards. Like, is that what people have been doing this whole time?
Yeah. Okay, so for the first part of Season 5 League, I played a Doomed Prophecy Wakanda list. That was Mystique, another character I will bring up in a minute, and then Black Panther Shuri Okoye at 15. And you could Wakanda Forever on Mystique's turn while she is Doom Prophesied and just destroy the entire board.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah, Doom Prophecy on Mystique.
Gross.
Rapid firing. Yeah.
I just got acid reflux thinking about that. That makes me not want to play this game anymore.
It went 1 and 2 because I got KO'd 2 games in a row.
Oof.
I mean, fair. High risk, high reward as camera.
The other
camera
thing
operator says.
The other thing. Did you know that Black Panther's pounce is once per activation, not once per turn? So when you've got him, you get an extra pounce as well.
That's probably something I've overlooked many, many a times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only time I've ever used all you've got is
turn 1 Thanos.
Round 1 with Thanos. Yeah.
Yeah, that's accurate.
To prove a point.
And then proceeded to win the game anyway. Oh man, it was Dan loves that I bring that up. I found out. Yeah. Oh, it was so good. But I love Ant-Man. I think Ant-Man is really, really good. Of course, Crime Syndicate is where everybody had been putting him for a while because while he can't pick up extracts, he can still hold secures. He counts as 2. He's really, really hard to move off. I loved him in Web Warriors. I used to run him all the time in Web Warriors, and I loved him in there because when he's in small form, he gets that additional defense reroll, and if he's on an objective, he gets to reroll a skull. I love Ant-Man. I did not look until I pretty much got here at Xavier Protocols. Only, I guess 10 people take him now in the newest season, and that's I'm going to assume because of Sam Spam. I guess I don't actually know why.
Criminal Syndicate's been fleshed out a little bit with some of the new Spider-Foot editions as well.
Yeah, well, so the other thing you could do with Ant-Man that made him really good in Spider-Foes, not in Spider-Foes, in Criminal Syndicate, is because on Gamma Shelters specifically, you wait till last activation, and if they only leave one person on that back point, you can get Ant-Man all the way across to the back point with his double medium move, transform, and range replace, and win the back point turn 1.
Yep.
That makes sense. That sounds like a really good strategy that I should probably do.
Well, the other thing, too, that a lot of people forget about Ant-Man is that normally to interact with a extract or a secure, depending on which one it is, you got to be within range 1 of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the range of Ant-Man's punch, range 1. So if you plant Ant-Man right on that objective, if they want to get near it, they have to get within range of the Ant punch, which everyone's really terrified of because it's the strongest range 1 attack in the game.
It's the strongest builder on a 3-threat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, pint-sized punch. You know what I mean? It's a wax a wallop. I would still like for somebody to explain the science behind it of how that actually works.
How what actually?
So it's, from my understanding, and this is all comic pseudoscience.
Okay. I mean, I get that.
Understand that. It's because ants, and especially a lot of things smaller in size, have more strength than their body weight. And being able to, and from my understanding, he keeps his weight in his smaller form, but gains the proportional strength that someone of the size would have compared to weight.
Okay.
He's still just as dense as a 5'10" dude punching you, except it's the size of a quarter. So
yeah, it's smaller surface area, same force.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dumb. I still don't get it. But that's. I mean, look, I always love the character. I think he's a lot of fun. Lexa, who have you chosen? Let's talk about him. Who you got?
Agent Widow.
Agent Widow, a character that I think we've only ever seen once, maybe twice on our show, and I know Dan tried to Doom Prophecy and did not go the way he had planned. I remember that much.
Okay, you want a fun Doom Prophecy list with her? I've got more ideas.
Okay,
15 A-Force affiliated She-Hulk, Hulk, Agent Widow. and your tactics card suite is Doom Prophecy. All you've got Gamma Launch and Agents of Smash. Because you can Gamma Launch on anybody's turn. So in the middle of your Doom Prophecy, if you kill everyone, you can Gamma Launch her 2 more targets. So she gets a range 5 place in the middle of her Doom Prophecy turn.
Oh, that's adorable. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. That is dope. I love that.
I might play that against Taylor this week.
And New Hulk looks terrifying too.
Yeah, he really does.
Yeah,
so you give him the extra power gen from the A-Force affiliation ability.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. Oh, that just sent chills down my spine. I like the idea because she definitely either way is like singing lullabies into both of their ears on the field the entire time, just trying to get them to calm down. That's adorable. I love it.
But my big thing about Agent Widow is she is repeatable VP out of scenario.
Okay.
Because she has her interrogate ability where if she's within 2 of a dazed model at the during the cleanup phase, she gets to pay 3, which she very consistently has the power for because she gets flat power gen of 2 power per action off of her pistols. And she gains you an extra VP.
Oh.
I always forget that that's on there.
I won't lie. It took me forever to get the model painted up because the model didn't do much for me, and it took me a while to figure out how I actually wanted to paint it. That I don't even think I actually ever really looked at the card. Like I know it exists. I know I looked at it, but I don't think I actually retained any of its information.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm. She also has the really good combination of parting shot and stealth, which basically means double tapping her is near impossible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the 2-threat Black Widow really needs that. Especially when she's going up against Bullseye.
Yeah. So like, and it's difficult because like Ant-Man has a range 1 attack, the strongest one in the game. So like being able to parting shot away from range 1 to get into stealth range so he can't. Yeah,
that tracks.
Strength there.
Yeah, that tracks for you.
Yeah. It's like they have to be right up on you for your short move not to get you out of range 3, basically.
Yeah.
I think they have to be within range 1 for you not to get out of range 3. Because so it's range 1 is half of range 2, and then range 3 is double range 2. And a short move is slightly bigger than range 2. So you need to be within that differential between range 2 and the short move of range 2 of your opponent, and then you get out of dodge and into stealth range. And even if you don't, there's a lot of characters that only have range 2 attacks, and you're automatically getting away from a double attack from them.
Yep. That tracks.
I like that.
Okay.
You also have in there. You also have an ability that gives out automatic poison. Which, now that we have people like Omega Red, that suddenly becomes a lot more important.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think of her at all when Omega Red first came out. Like, we were super excited for Baron. Because we were like, oh, you get poison all over the place. You can start doing this and really crank up that
So
gave Viper something to do kind of thing.
I've been playing Criminal Syndicate with Omega Red and Proxima Midnight. Because her Spear Throw, which is her reposition tool, has a wild poison on it.
Yep. And Starburst
and she's
too, right?
Yep. And she's very tanky for her point value.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And she can, out of activation, kill someone. Because if they're not careful, they can attack into her. She can martial prowess, and then if they deal no damage, they can daze themselves.
Constantly forget she has martial prowess too. Yeah, she has a solid 3.
She's great.
Ability too, with long movement.
Yeah,
on a 3.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't take her every week.
I was, and then someone flipped out on me. All you do is take 2s and Proxima Midnight every week, and I was like,
I definitely never said that. That must have been Dan. Maybe I have to go start looking at Agent Widow a lot more because this unlocked a lot of weird stuff in my brain.
And she is also a great Doom Prophecy target. Between Doom Prophecy and All You've Got, you can do a 64 dice turn.
Yep. So that's how I've only ever known her to be.
Yeah.
Is the Doom Bomb Widow, whatever it was called there.
Yeah. Widow Bomb.
That's what it was called. I knew it was something weird.
As coined by Turn Zero Gaming.
Yes. Our friends over at Turn Zero Gaming who don't know we exist most of the time. Even though I reference them constantly in our posts, and they don't answer my calls. Just like Will. The other Will. What's it? Dallas. No, Dallas. That's who I meant. Dallas doesn't return your phone calls.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember all the gimmicks we have here on the show, and I can't remember most of them.
Yeah, it's been a while since you've been on.
Yeah, well, I left the show. Tim, who you got?
I have Nebula.
Okay.
And the reason for it is because I like her a lot.
Yep.
I didn't put a whole ton of thought into this.
That's fair.
But I don't like to do what I guess the common terminology within the community of MCP calls it scoring points. So if I can run up there with Nebula and just goink some fools.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
She heals. She gets rerolls. She gets a defensive rerolls. She's got everything. I guess I don't know why people don't like her. She's got sword shock assault. Sword
shock assault.
Sword shock assault.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. My stroke. Jumped.
She's definitely become more prominent as time has gone on. Especially with sword base now. Because sword base is a place where you want last activation, and if you play your hand too early, you can really get punished.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Nebula is a way where you can get influence over who gets last activation without having to, without interacting with the objective in a way that could play your hand too early.
Yeah. I love Nebula. I'm very excited to see where Nebula kind of starts falling with a lot of the changes.
Guardians?
Guardians specifically. I mean, Nebula kind of seemed like it was always there, but I think she's going to be the Okoye of the Guardians at this point. Like, it's going to be an auto take.
I like New Rocket a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't think Rocket needed to get changed, so I still kind of
didn't either.
Yeah, but I do like the changes because
now he no longer dies to Groot.
Right. Yeah, if there's one thing that Tim loves doing, it's hucking stuff at small animals. So
I do like hitting people with other people. It's real fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So it makes a lot of sense. I do think it makes a lot of sense, but you can still just punch him in the face. You know what I mean? Like, he's still.
He still gets cover.
Right.
And you can deploy one of your rerolls onto him to keep him alive, and suddenly you're getting a double reroll and cover on defense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm going to roll skulls for those anyway, so the cover won't even help me. But
this is why you want to put Rocket and Red Warriors. Defensive reroll, take care of the skulls.
That's very true.
Still gets his cover, so you can actually use the cover to convert one of the skulls because you can modify and reroll skulls.
I never put that together either.
That's because you've never played Web Warriors with Miles Morales.
That's not true. I did it once because you told me I hadn't.
Okay, sure, whatever. Whatever makes you feel better, man. I like all of these lists. I have thoroughly enjoyed this episode because I feel like I have actually discovered this game for the first time.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I've been playing a totally different game. Literally, I got taken to school. You know what I mean? I got served lunch and it was delicious. I enjoyed this so very much.
I think the part that you'll have enjoyed the most out of this experience is that I'm getting a whole bunch of new stuff to do to other people.
Yes, very much so. I thoroughly enjoy when you ruin other people's days, but not mine specifically. Yes, it's why you're my contractually obligated best friend.
That's true.
That's how it works around here.
Yeah, I have a deep well of jank.
I love the jank. I am a big fan of the jank.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, Lexa, where can everybody find you on the internet? Where can they find your show? In the wise words of professional wrestler Adam Cole, get your shit in.
You have brought up wrestling and now.
That's a different show that we're going to record later, I promise.
Okay. But you can find my podcast on Podbean at morlocksmcp at .podbean.com. I think that's right. I don't have to shout that one out because I'm usually doing this stuff at the end of an episode of Morlocks.
That's fair.
But you can also support the show at patreon.com/Lexa White, where it not only supports my Marvel Crisis Protocol content, but it also supports my Arkham Horror, the card game content that I do at twitch.tv/CodabGames, where me and my friend Codab sit down and test out custom investigators and player cards.
Oh, cool.
Right. And then it also supports, I do independent television review in my spare time. And on you get a bonus podcast twice a month of me talking about TV on my Patreon, as well as access to the Morlocks Discord server, which is a lot of fun, and you get to see my fun creations that I've been working on for the Versus Capcom expansion that I mentioned earlier. And a whole lot of other stuff. And then, of course, also I mentioned earlier, every other Monday at twitch.tv/the_fuzzies, I am playing board games with my friends.
What's the last TV show review you did for the Patreon?
So it's I split it up into two things. So one part of the month I do just a general recap of everything I've been watching. That's at the start of the month, and then at the middle of the month, I have a guest on to do a specific show deep dive. So for October, I sat down with Abby, aka AJP2, who's a well-known figure in the Marvel Crisis Protocol community, as she is the accuser and kind of TO for the Oceanic bracket. And we talked about the Nancy Drew TV show, which I utterly love and have been reviewing each individual episode of as it comes out for the new season.
Hell yeah.
I adore that. I love that. I love that show.
Oh,
it's so good.
It's so good. Have you been watching season 3?
No, I haven't. I wait for it all to come out, and then I can kind of binge it and watch it, because otherwise I lose track and fall off. But I absolutely adore that show. Tim doesn't like CW stuff. It's a whole thing. Anyway, he's a monster.
Yes,
fair.
but this upcoming month, I am sitting down with my friend Josh, who's a notable person in a different community I'm part of, the This Is Rad community. And we are going to be talking about Batman Beyond.
Oh, hell yeah. All right. You might get a patron for a month. Because I have gone on. I absolutely adore Batman Beyond. I feel like it was much of a sleeper. The only one who doesn't. Go ahead.
So I think it's better than the animated series by a mile.
Mm-hmm.
I am not as big on the animated series as most people because I did not grow up with it. The Batman I grew up with was The Batman, which was a weird show that I adore still to this day.
So good.
Is that the Dietrich Bader one?
No, that was Batman Brave and Bold.
Oh, okay.
The Batman was it was a WB Kids show that was on towards the end of its run.
So it was during the era, because this ran alongside G.I. Joe Sigma 6, and it was during the era of Western animation studios realizing anime was popular and kind of trying to do the anime art style with Western properties.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It looked the art style was very similar to like Jackie Chan Adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of scribbly.
Another great show.
Love that.
Another great show.
Love that show.
But I have also done episodes on Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, which is another great show. I have done episodes on the 2003 one-season Birds of Prey live-action TV show.
Oh, wow. I haven't thought about that in a hot minute. I forgot that was a thing.
So it's the secret is I am secretly a DC person way more than a Marvel person.
Fair. That's fair.
It's in the comic books. I think DC is known for taking big swings, while Marvel really plays it safe. And I prefer saying, even if they fail, the big swings. Also, I'm always more of a TV than a movie person, and I think DC does better TV by like a mile.
Yeah, I agree.
As Marvel people, yeah. Yep, that's fair.
Yep.
And then also, I've done an episode on Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated.
Yeah. I love Scooby-Doo.
The one where Velma gets a girlfriend. as much as they could into 2010.
Yeah, I do remember that episode. That was a great episode.
Oh, it's for like half a season.
Yeah, it was super. They took a lot of interesting directions with Scooby-Doo during that era. That I
love it.
Yeah, it was super good, and I don't feel like it gets enough credit for all of the range of Scooby-Doo. How good that era was.
Yeah. Also, in that era, we got the introduction of the Hex Girls, who is a big moment in lesbianism.
Yep. That you would know from TikTok. That blows. That every time people reference that one, I'll send you the clip later. Anyway,
okay.
You know the clip because I've sent it to you like a million times. Anyway, yes, it was. Oh man, okay. You got.
I could go on about TV all day.
Patron this month apparently because I'm going to go binge all of this. Thank you all for joining us once again. I of course have been Chuck. For Tim, Lexa, we say, what do I say here? Oh, I just say bye, right? I don't have a sign off. Yeah. Okay. Bye. I forget sometimes.